What's up, guys? We are back for another Mythic Legions Advent of Decay review, and today we're jumping back into Legion Builders and taking a look at the Cavern Dwarf Legion Builder. You can see this guy comes on our standard Mythic Legions resealable packaging. He's there in the window. No bio for this guy. We just have a couple product shots on the side, and then we've got that same artwork on the backer card. So let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. Alright guys, here he is out of the package, our Cavern Dwarf Legion Builder, and I'm pretty partial to this figure, all things considered, and I gotta say right up front that I bought a second one at the in-stock sale, just like with the Goblin Legion Builder, just because I liked the way this guy looked so much, even before I got him out of the package. I just knew I had to get another one. So I'm really excited to take a look at this guy. We are, of course, going to start out with articulation as usual, and see how this guy moves around. I don't think we're going to be surprised at this point, but we got to do it for the sake of consistency. So we've got a head on a ball, so he can go side to side, he goes up, he goes down a little bit. Of course, he does have this humongous beard, so it definitely kind of hinders articulation a little bit. He does have horns on his helmet. They can be rotated, so you can have him going forwards or standing straight up. This guy does have one of the neck adapters, so he's got this extra piece that sits in his neck joint to make his head kind of jut forward a little bit. So it sets the head further towards the actual front of the chest rather than straight up and down on the shoulders. It definitely helps with the beard. I don't know that you'd really be able to do much without it. The arms go out. They rotate. We've got rotating elbows. We've got a single jointed elbow. You get maybe what, 75 degrees there. It's decent, but it definitely, is hindered a little bit by the sculpt. We've got rotation at the forearm, the gauntlet, rotation at the wrist, and then we've got hinges there as well. He has got the ball peg down at his waist. Let's get that head out of the way so you can see. Twist at the waist. He goes back and forth a little bit, and then side to side as well. Legs go out. They kick forward, they kick back. We've got a thigh cut up here. It's kind of low. It's a little bit lower than some of the other figures. And we've got a single jointed knee, rotation, and then we've got rocker, rotation, and hinge down there at the ankles. So, it's exactly what you'd expect. The only real difference with this guy is that, at least outside of the norm, is that he has the adapter that some figures have on that neck joint, and then he has that humongous beard, which definitely does get in the way, but, it's a big hunk of plastic, makes him look cool, so I'm okay with it. Now, as far as the overall look and feel of this guy, it's pretty obvious already that I've bought a second one without getting into the first one, that I really do like the way this guy looks. I'm partial to this particular style of dwarf. I think these guys are supposed to be slightly evil as I kind of read my way through the lore in some of these bios, so they're not necessarily the nicest of dwarves, but I really like the monochromatic look here with just the copper kind of browny copper look here, and these saturated black beards and horns really do it for me. We've seen all these parts before. There's really nothing new here. Borear shares some of these parts. We saw a lot of these parts in the Gonks Goblin because he's built on a dwarf body as far as his base goes, but everything about this kind of screams, an evil, slightly menacing dwarf, and I really like it. These guys are obviously a little bit on the shorter side compared to some other legions. They're squattier, they're kind of thicker, so there's a little height difference between some of your other figures, which is great. Of course, this guy has these horns, so he kind of makes up for it with his ornamentation there. But I really do like the look and feel of this particular figure. This color really works for me. It very much looks like a dwarf that lives, deep down in the earth. And of course, this big beard is really fantastic. It complements the dark nature of this figure, and it's just as solidly saturated black as it can get. And again, we've got the horns up on this head sculpt here, and they do rotate, so you can take them out. You actually have to put them on yourself, so you just pop them in and out. You can change them out for another figure's horns if you want to. But in terms of the overall body, it's a great little body. You got a lot of detail all over it, tons of sculpted detail. Like I said, it's the same thing we expect to see from any other figure. It just doesn't have any paint embellishments, which works really well when you're kind of building up your troop ranks and kind of just fleshing out your army if you're going for a dwarf army. I really like this helmet design. I think it's fantastic. It's very much, a Lord of the Rings dwarf style helmet is what I get out of it. That's what it looks like to me, and it really works for me. I'm very happy with all of the detail on this figure, and just the kind of menacing nature of this style of dwarf, again, is just really doing it for me. Now, as far as accessories goes, for this guy being a Legion builder, he comes with quite a bit of stuff. That's kind of the thing. You may not get as many paint apps on the Legion builders, but you certainly make up for it in terms of the accessories. So this guy, I've already obviously swapped out his head, and we've got pauldrons on him. So we've seen these pauldrons, you know, a million times over by now. These are some of my favorite. They're humongous, they're hulking, they're very menacing, they're plated, they're nasty, they're pitted. They've definitely been in battle. This helmet is absolutely amazing. This is my favorite helmet when it comes to dwarves. This is the one that I prefer. So when I get a second one, I'm going to have, you know, one of each. I'll have a bearded one, and then I'll have this guy here. I really, really like just the design on this one. You've got, of course, the ports for the horns there. So use these, use the ports, use the horns from another figure. But everything about this particular head sculpt really does it for me. It's just a nice design. Something about it really speaks to me. I really like all of these little metal plates that jut out of the face. It's almost like a metal beard sticking out of their helmets, which I guess that's kind of cool on its own. Now, as far as actual quote-unquote accessories, weapons and such, we do, of course, have all the back adapters. We've got the strap, but we've got 4 black accessories here, and we have got the big Warhammer. We've seen this, you know, time and time and time again. So we've got the big Warhammer here. I love this. This is a quintessential dwarf weapon. You can't really go wrong with a Warhammer. We've got this axe here, which I'm not sure that I've come across this guy yet. You know, I still haven't gone through everything, even though it's been quite a while now. I still haven't gone through them all. So we've got this guy with a braided handle with a rather large axe, all things considered, for this guy. So it's pretty cool. Nice design. I really like it. It's definitely different. It certainly looks dwarven to me. We've got the more barbarian style axe here with, you know, the stone inlay handle and the or axe blade, and then we've got the wooden handle there. So we've seen this a few times, but I really do like this. This doesn't necessarily scream dwarf to me, not so much as this one, but it's cool to have him be able to dual wield axes there. And then we've got the star of the show, and this guy appears in the dwarf weapons pack, which I still haven't gotten to, but we're going to get there. This shield is probably one of my favorite accessories in the entire Advent of Decay line. So we've got like a dwarven head inlaid in the center of this shield with all these kind of runic designs on the outside. It's definitely unique just on its own in terms of shape, and then it's got this extra piece in the center, and it looks like it actually can pop out. I'm not sure it's meant to, but it certainly looks like it's, because it's obviously a separate piece, so you might be able to pop it out. I'm not really going to try to do that, otherwise you just have a gaping hole there. And then being a newer style shield, you've got a handle instead of a clip. So this is just fantastic. This paired up with an axe or paired up with the hammer, I mean, that's a winning combo. This thing is just detailed beyond all belief. It's just fantastic. So that's a really cool accessory. Definitely going to be displaying him with the shield for sure. So overall, this is a pretty cool little dwarf. I love the color scheme, that saturated black look on the beard and on the horns with this kind of dark brown copper color really works. They kind of contrast and pop against each other, makes the figure look really nice on your shelf. All of these cool accessories, just a fantastic sculpt, of course, as usual. And then, of course, you can't go wrong with a humongous beard on that dwarf's head. And just in general, this is a really cool Legion builder, so it's going to be nice to be able to build up your ranks with this particular figure. You've got a couple options on how you want to display him. You can make a lot of different combinations with all the parts they gave you. That's kind of the thing here. That's the point of Legion builders, and I'm really, really happy that I've got this guy. Really happy that I've got a second one coming, so I can display this guy both ways. So that's going to do it for this look at the Mythic Legions Cavern Dwarf Legion builder. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.